Good evening, everyone. Hey, what's going on out there? I just wanted to pop in today because, wow, the Black Girl Magic Wealth Blueprint is behind us, but oh, what a day it was. And I just wanted to pop in. So I know I'm streaming on a number of different platforms, but the most important one is the Wealthy You community. So I'm going to give folks just a minute to get on because, of course, I didn't tell anybody I was going to do this. It's Monday, and typically I'm hanging in either on Wealthy You Wind Down Wednesdays with all of you, or Thursday we have a big skill building session coming up. We also have a number of folks who are new to the Wealthy You Society, our membership program, and I wanted to give all of them a shout out this evening. So come on in, and we're going to get this party started. So, yes. So, man, I am elated about the Wealthy You Black Girl Magic Wealth Program on Saturday. And I want to hear from all of you. What did you guys think? What are you going to do differently? What did you think about the speakers? What were your takeaways? I tell you, I was like a little overwhelmed by it all, folks. Hey, Virginia. Yeah, man, Virginia, you were dropping some wisdom and nuggets as always in the chat. We've gotten so much feedback, but hey, as you're coming in, I want to know who's on with me and where you're from. So just you can tag someone if you feel like they need to be here, because I'm going to be giving some updates, talk about what's to come, and so excited to be here. So let me just go on my little phone and see who's hanging out with me. So I should be streaming in the Facebook community. I should also be streaming on my Facebook page, and I may also be streaming on my personal page. But hey, what's going on? Let's see. So for those of you, if it's your first time hanging out with me, I'm Deborah Owens, and I'm founder of Wealthy You, where we focus on helping Black women learn how to master the art of investing by increasing their financial acumen, basically by teaching folks about the financial markets and how they work. And what I'm really excited about was that this past weekend we had another one of our quarterly events. Hey, Tawana, great job. I just want to tell you publicly that I felt like the team really delivered on Saturday, an amazing event. And so today I want to hear from you. Who's on? What did you think about the event? And what were your takeaways? Okay, yeah, I'm having some fun. It's telling me I can add you guys to the broadcast. All right. Okay, so Virginia says Saturday confirms how important entrepreneurship is to people of color. We often are not rewarded for our value in corporate America. It also help positions us to help other. That is amazing, Virginia. Um, I really feel, I really feel that way too. That's why, I mean, I came away so just full, because, um, the whole point of Saturday was to, uh, kind of give a platform and a voice to the financial love letter that I wrote to Black women. And if you haven't read that financial love letter, you can go to deborahowens.com and read it. And the reason that I wrote that financial love letter was because I after coaching, hundreds of women, what has become clear is that we've all tried to kind of follow that success and career roadmap that our parents basically died, and their parents, and their blood, sweat, and tears, the ability to give us an education, to open doors, to fight for equality, to have us to be able to compete based on merit, and to get a good education and to invest in our educations, and that we would go into these organizations and that they would see that we are capable, and that we have the same talent, same intellect, the same skill set to add value in the marketplace, and to excel and help companies succeed. And yet, hey, Maria. So who's in the house? Welcome, Maria. I saw Tawana tagged you as well. Tawana, you say I can't thank you enough for such an opportunity. But what I would say is that you all add tremendous value. And there is, again, it takes teamwork to make the dream work. And I can't thank all of you enough for the preparation that it took to execute on Saturday, an all-day event virtually with some amazing women who exemplified what Black Girl Magic Wealth is all about. And so that's what the event was about, just wanting to affirm that, hey, you have everything you need to serve and to succeed and to achieve financial success. It's just that a different financial success roadmap is required. And so when we thought through that event, and of course, I think this was probably our sixth event. Prior to this, every quarter we do a live event, and the last four were at the National Harbor in the suburbs of Maryland, across the water from DC. And those events were deep dives, master classes, all-day classes, where it was more of a teaching and a workshop. However, in this event, we pivoted virtually and had the Savvy Money Masterclass, the last quarterly event in April. And then for this event, just really wanted to provide more insight to Black women and acknowledge that there are some systemic economic barriers, whether it's access, knowing that many have reached out for assistance from financial services and institutions and not gotten the kind of reception, service, and just opportunity to understand and engage with investments and to leverage their financial success. And so, a little background though on Black Girl Magic Wealth and the origin of it was me reading the research that Nielsen did on Black women. And in it, the phrase that they used was our science, meaning the statistical and really doing research into Black women's influence, buying patterns, and the research around our economic elevation, if you will, our economic success, and the fact that Black women have just influenced every area of the economy. And that's something I don't think that we have been given our just due. Particularly, and I don't mean, when you see us recognized, oftentimes it is for our philanthropy in the form of our giving of our talents and times. If you look at our sororities and the kind of time and talent that we are service oriented as Black women. We make up the church. If you go into any Black church in America, you're going to find Black women there. And, the other side of that is you're going to find Black women in churches, holding it up, holding it down, committed, committees, prayers, prayer circles, ministries, and yet, even there, you find that we're often not in leadership roles. And in some, parts of the church, in some denominations can't be ministers. But I digress. But my point is, in this research, what I loved about the Nielsen study, and if you haven't seen it, Google it, Our Science, Her Magic. One of the things I loved about what they were able to quantify, backed by research, is our influence on trends, our influence on in the arts, in fashion, in technology, even in the sciences that you don't often see. I don't know if you saw it, but there is a woman at NIH, a young Black woman at NIH, leading the research on COVID-19 research. Good evening, Sharon, and welcome to the Wealthy Youth Society. I'm so glad you made the commitment, and now it's time to lean in. But in every area. And in fact, I was talking with one of our Wealthy Youth sisters today, Lori Sells, and I was conveying to her that I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but there is this PBS special about all of the background singers for like the major rock stars, Mick Jagger, the Rolling Stones, and all of these Black women were like in the background. I mean, blowing. Many of them, writing, some of that music. And and I think it's a great analogy. We're like, the backup singers and the background singers, and for far too long we have not been given the due credit for the impact and the innovation and our contribution to this economy. If you look at, one of the things that I hadn't shared that I was transparent about in the community, though, was that while all this was going on and we were preparing to execute on the Black Girl Magic Wealth Blueprint event, I also had another commitment. And that commitment was to the National Association of Black Journalists, of who I've been a member, and AARP. Yes, that's right, Kizzmekia Corbett. That's right, the Black scientist. That's right. Okay. So anyway, I'm preparing for this talk on COVID-19 for AARP and the financial pain that that people of color, brown and Black people, are experiencing. And so I'm preparing for that panel and was interviewed by Soledad O'Brien, basically a dream come true. And then we're also executing on this. So there was just a lot going on. And, at some point, if you're a Christian like me, you just say, Lord, I'm gonna prepare, and then you take the wheel, and we're gonna have to make it happen. But even just even in the studies, what they're showing, even with COVID-19, just to pull this stuff together, is that it is Black and brown people who are the most at risk, who are in occupations that are considered essential. And so as a result of that, we're the ones being exposed to COVID because we are the government workers who are essential. We're the nurses, we're the doctors, we're in administrative positions, we're the teachers. And now they're talking about teachers going in and, putting themselves at risk. So the point that I'm making is that in every area of the economy, Black women are impacting, are making an impact. And yet, when you look at our financial standing, it is far below. And part of that is because Black women, we're not just considering our own economics. Oh, thank you, Maria. 20 feet from stardom, girl. I saw that. You have got to see this documentary and just see the impact that these background singers, who were, amazing talent, and they never got their true economic justice. Do you know what I mean? Like, they never got remunerated for the contribution that they made to these mega stars. Like, right? I mean, 20 feet from stardom, just like, 10 feet from gold. I think that was kind of like a riff on one of the empowerment. So, I mean, if you're just joining us, I'm Deborah Owens. I'm founder of Wealthy You, where we help Black women master the art of investing. And we're talking, just doing a recap. We just had our Black Girl Magic Wealth event. And so I'm kind of just giving a little background on the impetus of it, the genesis of it, and why the Black Girl Magic Wealth Blueprint and the why it is time for the time is now, okay, for Black women to have a wealth blueprint that addresses the economic and systemic barriers that we face, and that it's a call to action for Black women to get their just due, to be more strategic. And that's really what to be more strategic, to advocate for ourselves, and to make sure that we are securing not only our seat at the table, but that we're taking some of those assets that we're receiving from that table and we're securing our bag as well. Does that make sense? By the way, hey, tell me who's in here and who's talking to me. I want to know who's in the room. And I also want to know from those of you who did attend the event, talk to me a little bit about what you gained from it and what you hope to accomplish now. I mean, was there anything that stood out from the event that you want to share? And I just implore you to put it in the comments. And if you're just coming in, hey, tag some other people. Action. And and tell me what's going on. Okay, so back to the Black Girl Magic Wealth Blueprint. So, if you will recall, if you were at that event, and if you weren't, basically we had women speaking to a theme. And that theme really is that you got to turn your Black Girl Magic wealth, your Black Girl Magic, into wealth, and that you already possess it. And yes, we possess it. Yes, we possess it. But that same study that I'm talking about with Nielsen, on Nielsen, talking about how our consumer buying patterns, how we influence fashion, beauty, all of different things, that we are wired to build wealth. And so we're wired to build wealth. We've just got to take that same knowledge and intellect and learn how to turn it into wealth. I am trying to figure out how to view my comments. But that's what I want you to know, that you can harness that knowledge. And as you're looking at trends, as you're on social media, influencing social media, that you can start listening for what people see is of value, and then start looking at ways that you can use that information and intel to invest. Is this making sense? Like, that's what Wealthy You is about. It's about teaching you how to leverage your brilliance, your intellect, your influence, your innovation in a manner which achieves a certain goal, and that goal is to secure yourself economically. Does that make sense, you guys? And so on Saturday, we had 4 speakers who really spoke to that. And Nikki is saying, Elizabeth Davis from Shadavi was my biggest inspiration. I took serious notes for my company. That's right. And I think, what the biggest takeaway from Elizabeth was that the first place she started was with mindset. Are you guys with me? The first place she started was mindset. Because, and that's the whole theme of it, the new wealth blueprint for Black women that I launched at this event was, you've got to make that internal shift from thinking like an earner to an owner. And by the way, Virginia Callahan dropped some serious knowledge in the chats. I hope you guys were listening. I hope you guys were observing, because that's one of the things that she talked about, the fact that we were trained, right, to be laborers and then to be wage earners. And isn't it interesting that wages are taxed the most severely versus profits? Isn't that interesting? And so I'm by no means saying that everybody has to be an entrepreneur, although I think you do need to have a way of turning your talents into wealth independently of a business. But then, and to that point, next up was Minda, who said, no, you have to advocate for yourself. You deserve a seat at the table. You have to get the type of salary that you're due. And so that magic inside of you is the gift you have, the gift that differentiates yourself and allows you to have perspective and allows you to go into the marketplace but you gotta. And here's the biggest thing when I'm coaching women, it's like, look, it's not what makes you the same, it's what makes you different. But you have to be able to equate what that difference in perspective you bring, how it can add value to the organization, and how you can help the organization move forward. And that's how you negotiate. You negotiate for stock options. You negotiate for benefits. You negotiate for executive MBA programs. You negotiate for their compensation comes in all different forms, not just wages. I mean, that's the biggest aha and the biggest thing that I have to have women understand. And Minda talked a lot about that, just what you need to do to advocate for yourself. You got to have a strategy. You got to know what your needs are. And so you hear a cultural fit. Yeah, I want to see if that, we're going to talk cultural fit. I want to see if if your culture fits my brilliance. Are you with me? That's right, Tawana. Minda and Kim dropped so many gems. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And so Virginia says, hobbies with an intent to turn a profit also allows one to keep more of their day job earnings by capturing legal tax deductions. That is true. But one of the things I said that Terry told me, when I started out, because starting out, you don't make a lot of money, you're excited, you started your business, you're getting a few checks, and then you get to the end of the year and you haven't really made a profit. And, at some point and that's when that mindset comes. And I think that's exactly what Elizabeth talked about, is many of us do have seven-figure business model. I mean, we have seven-figure businesses, a seven-figure idea, but we don't have a seven-figure business mindset, right? And that's when you have that hobby where, you're just, if you make money, fine. If you're not, because you're enjoying yourself. But her point really was that she got a life coach to help her to shift her mindset so that she could build that seven-figure business. And then last but not least, Dr. Tisa Silver Kennedy, what she was so effective at, I think, conveying, and I hope y'all got this. I hope you got this. By the way, what was the biggest lesson for those of you who were in attendance at the event that you learned from Tisa? I wonder if anybody got it. Anybody get it? Well, here's what you should have learned. What you should have learned, that do not go into debt. I think the point that she made about the woman who said she had $300,000 in student loan debt. I mean, her point was, the backstory on that was her employer said, oh, to get this promotion, you need to have this degree. And so she wanted to get the degree. And so she's constantly going into debt. And then when she does get what they tell her that she should, then she gets the degrees. And then, oh, well, our budget has changed and all of this has changed. It's like, no, if your employer is going to tell you you need certain additional degrees or certifications, then they need to invest in you getting them. And so that's the point that she made. So all throughout the day, there was just a plethora of insights being given to you that you could use to accelerate your financial growth and secure your bag, because that's really what it was about. And so what I'm really, really excited about, guess what? We already have the video back from all of those speakers, and we are packaging them so that you'll have access to the replay. And so how many of you are excited about being able to go back through their presentations and now revisit them in your time? And then I know there are going to be people, and by the way, if you're listening to this on replay, just put replay later. But one of the things that we're going to be posting in the next couple of days is how you're going to get your hands on that replay. Now, the good news is, for those of you who were attendees, of course, you're going to get some ridiculous bonus, promo, because you guys invested in it, you went through it. For many of you who are in the Wealthy You Society, you're going to qualify for that. And by the way, for those of you who maybe were sitting on the fence, or, were, thinking about, oh, should I do it? Should I do it? You got to get in on this thing, because we have the big overview training coming on Thursday. And so there's still a little time to join. And then Tawana, since you're on, if you can just put that Black Girl Magic Society membership link up, and all the information is in there. So many of the women who were on the many of you, the women who joined, are all set. And by the way, your t-shirts, your financial legacy kits that has all these books in it that are behind me are being shipped out. I think you should have received an email asking you, for those of you who did full pay, you're going to get the kits and the t-shirts. And so you should be getting an email from Stephanie just asking you what your size is. But for those of you who want to get in on this, you still can. And so I am excited. Just about, man, we 1/3 of you who attended joined the Wealthy You Society. And as you can see, and some of you wanted to learn about the inner circle, and that's my private coaching program where you have to apply. And if you want a link, you have to get on my calendar. We have to chat, and just reach out to Stephanie and she'll send that link to you. So just as a recap, keep your eyes open, because if you want to get your hands on the replay, and in addition to that, if you and I'm going to go to these comments as well. If you also want to, okay, so I lost my train of thought. So if you want to join the Wealthy You Society, there's still time. And so you can get more information. If you're in the Wealthy You community, you can go to those links, or I think Tawana's going to link to this. So I just want to pull up what Virginia just put up here, and she says, community college is a plus. Understand the differences in public and private loans. Seek advice before you borrow. Complete the FAFSA and get Pell and state grants. Seek forgiveness occupations for do not use retirement for college. Plan ahead, young kids, 529 programs, high schoolers, college jumpstart programs, and apply for scholarship. Man, I mean, Virginia, you kind of just broke that all the way down. That was, if you think about it, that was Tisa's presentation. And, you know, one of the other things Tisa talked about too was be careful with these refinancing, guys. So right now, there are a lot of companies that are saying, oh, you should refi your house, you know, or now's the time, which is a good idea. But they're saying now's the time to refi your student loans. Listen, federal student loans, those direct loans, have certain benefits that those private loans don't have. So tread very lightly. Be very, very cautious about how you proceed. Thank you, Tawana, for putting that in. And so I'm excited. Just an aside, Wednesday we have Wealthy You Wind Down. And I posted something did I post it in the Wealthy You Society? I need to repost that in the Wealthy You community as well. But there was a great post that I reposted in the community about knowing your value. And the reason why it was so important was that was what the whole Black Girl Magic Wealth was about. It's about knowing your value. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that on Wednesday for Wealthy You Wind Down. And then for all of you in the Wealthy You Society or the Wealthy You Inner Circle, because of course you get the Wealthy You Society as well, on Thursday I am going to be doing a deep dive into an overview of the financial markets, how they work. And you should come away from that really having a solid understanding of the financial markets and how they work. Now, I am going to tape that. I am going to record the session. But one of the things I know, if you're like me, I need to be able to ask questions. And so I really want to encourage you to put 8 o'clock skill building for the Wealthy You Society on your calendar. The other thing I want to say for those of you who just joined, the syllabus for the Wealthy You Society is in the unit section of the Facebook group. Although in your email, you should have gotten your logins for the Wealthy You portal. I want you to go ahead and jump right in, and then be prepared with your questions so that I can answer them. All of the tools that you need are in the Wealthy You portal. And so the kind of textbook for Wealthy You is the A Purse of Your Own book, which you see behind me. That is downloadable in the Wealthy You portal, and many of you who paid in full will have that physical book as well. And I just want to say I am just so excited about the growth of many of you in the community. You're seeing your net worth go up. You're paying off debt. I mean, who was it? Nikki was on fire today talking about everybody better get rid of their fitness subscriptions. And you know, we went over that when we did the financial makeover. And by the way, we'll have another challenge coming up. If some of you didn't feel like you gave it your all in all, we're going to have another challenge going up. So uh, just be on the lookout. I just want to tell you, I wanted to pop on here. I didn't really think I was going to stay on this long. Be on the lookout for the Black Girl Magic Wealth replay. For though I see you were cleaning the house, Miss Mayo. The Black Girl Magic Wealth Blueprint replay. And for those of you who attended and your friends didn't, and you tried to tell them y'all need to be here and they didn't, I want to make sure you share that link. And so that's coming. Wealthy You Wind Down on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. And then skill building. And I keep finding a bunch of stuff that I want to put in there. I'm going to try to not make it too long, but I just want you to know that it is going to be meaty. So it's probably going to go from 8 to 10 on Thursday night. That's for the skill building. So if y'all need to get you some coffee or some energy drinks, or maybe you need to take a nap, all right, then I am forewarning you, right? But here's what I know is after you go through this, the blinder's going to be taken off, and all of this terminology that you hear about the markets and how they work. So, many of you in the Wealthy You Society, you've gotten, the historical performance of the markets, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to go a little deeper into that so that you understand how things became the way they are. And so I'm working on that now. I feel like I'm always working on something, but hey, if we got to make it clear, make it plain so that you can understand it, that's just what it's got to be. And within that training, because we're coming up on how to analyze and research stocks and how to analyze and research mutual funds, I'm going to put just an overview of what that process looks like so that you can be prepared for it. So in closing this evening, and again, if you're watching on this replay, in closing, I just want to publicly state to both Stephanie Lee and Tawana Tyler how just brilliant on execution and preparation. And I think all of those who attended would agree on that. And of course, my husband, who just, helped to make that production, got the right people technically, and then I want to publicly state our speakers were just amazing. From Kim Coles, everybody's sister friend, living single, and now is quite the entrepreneur and teaching folks how to pivot to their purpose and tell their story. To Minda Hart, secure a seat at the table. What a courageous young woman and what she's doing for women in their careers. Elizabeth Davis of Shidavi. Go to her website, shidavi.com. She has some incredible products. And then finally, Dr. Tisa Silver Kennedy and her Melanin, Money, and Matriculation. Go to tisasilver.com. That's her website to learn more about what she's doing. And again, if you want to join the Wealthy You Society, our membership program, and get in on what we're up to. And the other thing is, when you're in that program, you don't pay the $197 that it costs to go to these different events. That's all a part of your investment. And then finally, the Black Girl Magic Wealth Replay, that will become available. And I will see all of you on Wealthy You Wind Down Wednesday. Uh, so bring your favorite glass of wine. And thank you, Tawana. And come on and hang out with us. But again, I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, founder and CEO of Wealthy You, where we help Black women master the art of investing by increasing their financial acumen so that they can secure their bag. All right, folks, good night and God bless.